Hello, students. So I'm excited today to share with you a project that we're going to work on from now until we leave for Thanksgiving break. So this project will be 2 weeks and one day, so about 2.5 weeks that you have for this project. I am giving this project to my culinary 2, 3, and 4 students, and I'm really excited about it. So before I go into great detail, I want to give you a little background about where this is coming from. So let me click over here and share this for you. Right now, you're looking at a picture of me with my grandpa. This is my grandpa. His name was Afton, and he passed away in 2014. So at that time, I was 30 years old when he passed away. So I was very fortunate to have him in my life for a long time. And he and my granny, his wife, were two of my absolute favorite people on the planet. I love them so much, and I just have so many happy memories of being with them, and a lot of those memories involve food. So my granny was a great cook. They're from an older generation. She definitely did the bulk of the cooking, but she loved to cook every Sunday and have our whole entire great big family come over. And she was always just generous and wonderful, and her food was amazing. But my grandpa had a few tricks up his sleeve. So one of the most amazing things that I have ever eaten that I just love was his cornbread dressing. Some people call it dressing, some people call it stuffing. In our family, this is dressing. So before he passed, a couple years, before he passed away, I asked him if he would teach me how to make his cornbread dressing. It was important to me to learn the recipe. I wanted to make sure that I could replicate it and make it just like he did. So he taught me the secrets. We spent a day together. I took some notes, and now I have it just completely memorized. And I make his his dressing whenever I have Thanksgiving or a special holiday, or if I'm just missing him or craving some real comfort food. I turn to this recipe. So we are going to begin what I'm calling a family recipe project. So, most of us in our families have some recipes that are special, some foods that we really love. They might be foods that we eat all the time, like weekly. Maybe your mom or your dad cooks something that you just really enjoy. Or maybe they're foods that you have on holidays or special occasions, and one of your family members has a legacy for that food. Maybe your aunt makes the best red velvet cake on the planet. Maybe your uncle smokes chicken wings like nobody else. Um, most of us have something special in our family. Food and family are so closely connected. Most of our gatherings with family involve food, and most of our families like to eat and like to eat well. Okay, so I'm going to introduce this project to you today. I'm going to turn this video into an Edpuzzle because I have a lot of information to give you. I want to make sure that I tell every class the same thing. I don't want to leave things out. I don't want to forget. I want to take my time to walk you through this. And it's really important at the beginning of the project that you also take the time to listen, to watch, and to understand exactly what's going to be asked of you. Okay, so I'm starting with second period, but you'll be able to find this folder in your class as well. So you're going to look for this. As you guys know, I keep your folders organized by week 1, week 2. I'm going to divert. So starting today until we go to Thanksgiving break, all we're going to be using is the Q2 Family Recipe Project folder. So it says all information and assignments pertaining to the Family Recipe Project can be found in this folder. The project will run from Thursday, November 5th to Friday, November 20th. Okay, so let's open it up. All right, the folder is loading. I have already created every piece of the project. It looks like a lot of things, but some of these things are short and sweet, and you'll do them today. So we're going to start with a project overview. I'm going to go through this with you, make sure you have an understanding of the project, and then I'll look at some things in more detail with you. So the family recipe project overview, if you were to click on it, looks just like this. What I've done is I provided you a list of assignments and their corresponding due dates. I've broken everything up in a way that I think makes sense and given you specific targets. This assignment needs to be done by this day. So today, in this first class of the project, we're going to work on a discussion post on Schoology, and we're going to work on creating interview questions. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Both of those items you'll complete today in class with me, but technically not due until Sunday night at midnight. I'll accept them until that time. So you can see in this column, when should I work on it? I'm trying to help you pace yourself. And in this column, when is the absolute final due date? Okay. So we'll come back and look at these due dates in a minute after we have a better understanding of the project. Please note number 4, 5, 6, and 7 highlighted in purple. These are assessment grades. Okay. The first 3 are learning opportunity grades. All right, here's a quick overview of each assignment. The first thing that we'll do today when we finish this Edpuzzle is a discussion on Schoology. Okay, got a couple questions that I'd like you to answer. Second, you are going to create interview questions. So today we're going to try to really think about what is a food that's special to you? What's a food that's special in your family? What is a dish that you love or that everyone loves or that seems like it's just something super enjoyable? I want you to think of the dish today, and I'll give you some time to think. And once you have figured out the dish that you want to do your project around, we're going to figure out who is the maker of that dish. Who's the cook in the family that creates that or that brings that? And you will end up doing an interview with that person. So I have written half of your interview questions. I want everyone to ask some of the same questions, and then I'm giving you some freedom to ask some other questions. Part 3 will be transcribing the recipe. So I need you to ask your aunt or your grandpa or your cousin or your mom or whoever, your neighbor. I need you to ask that person for their recipe. They might say, "Sure, I've got it saved on my computer," and email it to you. Or they might say, "Oh, I have no recipe. I know that from my mind." In that case, you're going to have to dig a little deeper and ask a few more questions and try to pin down the information. So everyone will turn in a recipe. After that, you've got an interview to conduct. You're going to make a phone call, make a visit. You can host a Google Meet if you wanted to have a video chat or a FaceTime with whomever this person is. So you'll ask them your questions, you'll talk. You may want to record this conversation so that you have an easier time transcribing it when you're finished. But you'll have a nice conversation. You'll ask them some questions. You'll thank them, of course, when you're done for giving you their time. And then you will type up for me the responses to the questions that you asked. Okay, so you're doing an interview. After the interview and after you have a copy of the recipe, you are going to have a hands-on component. You are going to create the dish. This lab does not have to be a solo project. It would be wonderful if you did this with someone. Maybe you get your sister or your brother involved. Maybe your mom helps you. Maybe you go visit your grandma and you make it together. Anything like that would be fantastic, but you can absolutely do it solo. So you are going to create the dish at home, replicate it, follow the recipe, learn how to make it. If it's special to you, let's take the time now for you to learn how to make the dish. I will tell you a little later in this presentation what to do if you think you may have a problem. If, for example, you're living in a place where you do not have a functional kitchen, or maybe you don't have a functional stove. I have a few students I know are in that situation. And then you may also have to consider the financial aspect. For example, if your family grocery shops once a month or once every 2 weeks, and you want to make a decadent cheesecake, your parents may not be able to just rush to the store and purchase you 4 blocks of cream cheese and a pound of butter and milk and eggs and all of the many ingredients in your dish. So we're going to have to be thoughtful about what we pick because you are going to end up making it. Okay, so kind of keep that in your brain as you think about what dish you want to choose for the project. During the lab, you're going to take some photos. I'm going to require you to do a couple of process photos, so pictures as you cook. Show me what it looks like. Show me when you have your ingredients all set up. Show me the halfway point. Show me the final product. After the lab, we're going to work on a slideshow. So I'm going to give you a short, condensed slideshow template, and I'm going to ask you to share a little bit about the recipe, a little bit about your family member, and a little bit about you creating the recipe at home, how it went, a few pictures. So you'll make a slideshow, and then every single student will present their slideshow over Zoom on the last day before Thanksgiving break. So that will be Thursday, the 19th of November for my evens, and Friday, the 20th for my odds. I'll give you kind of like a time slot and an order the day before. And I will share with you a rubric of how I will grade you. And then you'll come on Zoom, you'll turn your camera on. I'll have the settings arranged for you so you can share your screen, and you'll share with your classmates what you learned. Okay, so those are the components of the assignment. Let's look back at the due date chart. So as a refresher, today in class, you're going to do the discussion, and you're going to write out the rest of the interview questions. After that, next week, so anytime really from today until next Sunday, the 15th. So today is what's the date today? I'm trying to think. 6th? I think today's the 6th of November, November 5th, November 6th. So you have until the 13th. Okay, that gives you a number of days, 7 or 8 days, to turn in the copy of your recipe, to interview your family member and type up their responses, and to complete your lab at home. So those items are due by Sunday, November 15th. You're going to take care of all those things. You'll have a block class with me either Monday or Tuesday, the 16th or 17th of November. On that day, I want you to work on your slideshow. And then on Wednesday, November 18th, you'll have a little more class time to work on your slideshow. And that will be due at midnight on Wednesday, November 18th. The reason it is due at that time is because we will begin presentations the next day. So I need you to have your work completed the night before. Okay, and then your presentations, of course, will be done in class either on the 19th or the 20th. So this overview is going to be really important for you to pay attention and keep yourself paced. My online students, my in-person students, we are all doing this together, and we're doing it at the same pace. So you'll have to be thoughtful about how you use your time. You may be wondering, okay, you've given us all this stuff now. Are we coming to class? The answer is yes. So next week, during our 2 blocks together, remember, next Wednesday is Veterans Day. It's a holiday. No one will be in school. So we'll have 2 blocks together next week. For both blocks, we will all come to class. We will log into Zoom, and we will have a check-in. I might give you a survey. I might ask you for feedback in the chat. I might put you in private breakout rooms and have one-on-one video conferences with you. But we will be together I'll check your progress, I'll check on you, I'll answer your specific questions and give you guidance. So plan to be attentive in class. However, know that you should use that time to be working on these things. Work on typing up the transcript from your interview. Fine with me if you call grandma during my class. This will also be the time for you to type the recipe and possibly work on one of those recipe labs. All right, so let's look back again. So in this folder, we've just looked at the project overview. For today, we're going to begin with a discussion. The discussion is for you to first think about, what do I want to do? Like, what recipe is important to me? What family member do I want to interview and ask for a recipe? So, directions. Remember on a discussion post that you type here where it says write a comment. Okay, so comment. Type there and hit post. And a discussion is never private. After you post, I will be able to see and your classmates will be able to see. I am going to do an interactive piece. I'm going to give your classmates an opportunity to correspond with you. So just make sure that what you're posting here is presentable for others. All right, you have a couple of questions to answer in the space below in the comment box. I want you to answer in complete sentences. Please check the expectations up here. I want you to answer thoughtfully and thoroughly. What I don't want you to do is to blow this off, to rush, to write me 5-word sentences. I want you to take your time. The brainstorming, the thinking, and the planning is just as important as anything that you'll put together in this project. So we're not going to rush today. I don't care very much on your discussion post about your spelling, your grammar. I'm not going to nitpick those things. I want you to think of this like a journal entry. The content's important. Give me some really good, thoughtful feedback. Tell me what you're thinking. Share what's on your brain. So, one thing I need to address here as we start this project. I am calling this the Family Recipe Project, and I've talked a lot about family so far, but I need you to know that family can be defined in many ways. Some of you have family close by and you're close to them and they're good to you and you love them and everything's happy. Some of you don't have much of that. You don't have very much family. You might not have great relationships with your family. Family can be the people you live with, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, guardian, the people in your home. Family can be your next door neighbor. Family can be your best friend's mom. Maybe when you go over to their house, she always makes macaroni and cheese, and it's the most delicious macaroni and cheese. That's fine. So use the term family loosely if you need to. Okay. Here's the questions you're going to reflect on. First, I want you to talk to me. Tell me about some of your favorite family recipes. You're going to pick at least 2. I want you to aim for 2 recipes that you can talk about. Like, I might talk about my grandpa's cornbread dressing, and then I might also talk about my mom. She makes a broccoli casserole. It sounds awful, but it's delicious. Super cheesy. It's literally the favorite dish at every holiday. Everyone asks her to bring it. Super good. So choose 2 and discuss them. Tell me what you know about the food. Describe the dish to me as though I've never heard of it. Even if you're telling me about macaroni and cheese, talk to me about it like I don't know what it is. Okay, tell me about the sauce. What color is it? What does it taste like? What is the texture like when you're chewing on it? Give me the details. Question 2, in your family, who do you consider to be a good cook? I want you to tell me about somebody that you think of as a good cook. Like, this person has skill. Every time this person cooks me something, it's really tasty. What do you know about that person? Who are they in relationship to you? Is this your grandma? Is this your dad? Is this your older sister? Okay. So tell me, like, how do you interact with them? Do you live with them? Do you see them once a year? Why do you think they're a good cook? And then question 3, Talk to me about how your family interacts with food. This is a really open-ended question. My family thinks that food is super important. Every time we get together, we're getting together over food. We're not ever going to have a gathering that's not absolutely filled with delicious homemade food, right? That's half the fun for us on both sides of my family. It's a big deal. Everyone is a good cook. Everyone likes to cook. So food is a passion in my family. We eat really well. So tell me, is your family like mine? Do you guys celebrate every little thing with a party? Is the whole family coming over and you guys are cooking out on the grill? If it's somebody's birthday or hey, it's just the weekend. What's it like? What's the kind of the food culture in your family? Now, some of you might have families that don't do a whole lot of cooking, don't do a whole lot of gathering. That's fine. It's okay that if your family is different than my family. Okay, so I want you to share about that. All right, that's our discussion post. The second thing that we're going to do in class today is work on our interview questions. So I am giving this to you as a template. A template means I've formatted it for you. I need you to go in, I need you to go file, make a copy, and then make sure it's imported in your Google Drive. Okay, it belongs to you at that point. You can edit it as you wish. I am giving you 4 questions, and I want you to write 4 open-ended questions for a total of 8 questions to ask your family member. So the questions should be open-ended. When you interview someone, you want to give them a chance to speak. When you ask closed questions, which are yes or no questions, sometimes people will not share beyond that one-word answer. So you might say, Grandma, do you love cooking? And she might say, yes. Awkward pause on the phone. Okay, question 4. Grandma, what year did you first make this recipe? Well, I think it was 1976. See? But if you ask, Grandma, what do you love about cooking? Why do you love to cook? She's going to say, oh, I don't know. It's creative. It relieves my stress. I just love to be in the kitchen. I love to feed people. It makes me so happy when I can feed my family and they come to my house and we have a great time and I know that I'm taking care of them. It feels good to me, right? So now grandma's told you half of her life story instead of a one-word answer. Okay? So let's click FRP interview questions. The 4 questions that I'm giving you are posted, and you're going to write a couple questions. Okay, so interviewer's name, that's you. Change it to your first and last name. Family member's name goes here. Their relationship to you goes here. That means, is this your uncle? Is this your granddad? Is this your brother? Is this your mom? Is this your neighbor? Please give me contact information for that person. Will I use it? Probably not. But I'd like to have it. Their email, their phone, some way that I can get in touch with them. Put the date of the interview. Hopefully, these are not all Sunday night, November 15th, but I know some of them will be. And then the title of the recipe, right? So, cornbread dressing. Okay, here's the questions I want you to ask. Number 1, I want you to ask that person to tell you the story behind this recipe. Like, Grandpa, tell me about this cornbread dressing. You might say, well, my mom used to make it. She made it every year for Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. And that might lead you to another question. You might think of something else, like a follow-up question to ask. Okay. Question 2, why do you love to cook? Kind of like I mentioned a minute ago, someone might start telling you a lot of things. Or someone might say, I don't really love to cook. I do it because I have to. That's fine. Okay. Number 3, tell me about the best cook you know, right? I like that question. And number 4, what advice would you give to me or any other teenager who's learning to cook? Okay, so here's where you guys come in. Number 5, you're going to write a question. Number 6, number 7, and number 8. So today in class, you're going to write your questions. We may do some discussion together to help brainstorm good questions. I do want you to be thinking about, okay, with this specific person, this specific recipe, what else would be interesting to know? What do I want to know about my family? What do I want to know about this person? What do I want to know about food and cooking? All right. So you're going to come up with your interview questions. The interview questions are due by this Sunday, as well as that discussion post. Okay. So let's go back to the project. Okay. The next step, number 3, the recipe, number 4, the interview transcript, and number 5, the lab report are all due next Sunday. Next Sunday is November 15th. You'll have 2 block periods next week to work on these. So my strong suggestion to you is please don't wait until Sunday night, November 15th, to call your grandma and ask the questions. Get it done early in the week so that you have plenty of time to work on these assignments. All right, so for the recipe, when you open this assignment, you will see a link. This is the same thing, it's a template. So you're gonna open it, click File, make a copy, and then make sure it's saved into your Google Drive. So I do need you to ask for a copy of their recipe. They might have to take a picture with their smartphone and send it to you. Maybe it's written down or it's in a cookbook. They might have to tell you where you can find it on Google. Or they might say, well, I just kind of do this, this, and this. Write down everything they say. All right. We're going to transcribe their recipe into this format. So, standard recipe, you're going to put the list of ingredients, remember quantities, 1 egg, half a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, 2 sticks of butter, be specific. And then directions you can write as numbered step-by-step directions, or you can write it as a paragraph. It doesn't matter to me. Both of those are standard in recipes. So transcribe your recipe, fill in the top with your name, their contact, and then submit this on Schoology. I don't expect this to happen much, but if you have a family member who says, I don't share that recipe is top secret. My coconut cream pie is not to be shared. I want you to try this. I want you to tell them, Aunt Cindy, no one is going to see this recipe except me. You're going to turn it into me. I'm not going to share it. I will not post anything publicly. I will not share anything. I will not require you to share anything if you have a family member that feels kind of protective of their recipe. Okay. So I don't expect it to happen, but it might. All right, number 4. So again, this is looking into next week. The interview transcript. When you interview that family member, you need to take good notes. My strong suggestion for you is that you record your interview. It's very easy to do audio recording from a cell phone. If you need help, if you want me to show you that, I will. Also, in this day and age, even probably your grandparents could get on Zoom. So Zoom, you can get a free account, but you guys all have Google accounts. Google Meet, it's free. Send the link to the person you want to talk to, and you can have a quick video chat. You guys also probably have FaceTime and other, WhatsApp and things like that. So it's my suggestion that you record so you remember. But if you don't record or you can't record, make sure you're taking good notes, like type as you talk. And when you get off the phone or you get done with that conversation, like go ahead and take a minute to really write down the things you remember. So your final transcript will be turned in on the same place where you wrote the interview questions. This is where you're going to now go back and you're going to type in your responses. But I'd like you to make this look nice. I'd like you to write in complete sentences, watch your spelling, your grammar. Like, let's do a nice job with the transcript of your interview. Okay, so that'll get uploaded here on Schoology. Okay, next component, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be the lab. So this is where you really have to think about, can I do this at home? Is this recipe manageable? Are the ingredients manageable? Are my parents on board? Like, can I do this? So let's just jump right now to the highlighted area. If you have an extenuating circumstance, If for any reason you feel you're unable to complete the lab, I need to know as soon as possible. Like, I need to know on Monday. Don't wait until Sunday, November 15th and send me an email and say, I couldn't do it. I'm going to say, why didn't you tell me that a week ago? Because if you tell me a week in advance, I can help you. If you have a financial hardship, I can help you. If I need to bring you groceries to your house, it might be possible. If you are living in a place where you do not have a functional kitchen, let me help you. So don't make excuses. Don't slack off and not contact me. It's critical that you let me know if you have a need. But for most of you, I expect you'll be okay. You live in places where everything is functioning. Your parents are usually pretty happy when you're cooking. So run this by your parents today, like let them know what you're doing, because I want you to make this recipe at home, okay? Or at your neighbor's house, or at your aunt's house, wherever, like whoever is the person who's in charge of this recipe. Feel free to make it with them. All right, so you are going to create your dish. I do want you to do 3 photos of the process and 1 photo of the final product. I also want you to make sure that you appear in at least 1 photo. I want a picture of you with your food. I want to see you in action. Okay, so that's like your proof. So you're going to take the pictures, and then on Schoology, you're going to upload those 4 photos as well as a short reflection or lab report about how it went. So I've got some questions in this paragraph for you to focus on. So did it turn out how you expected? Was it as good as grandma's? Did you get help from a family member? Did you go solo? Are you proud of your creation? Just tell me a little bit about your experience. I just want to know how it went for you. Okay, so that'll be due Sunday, November 15th. Now, after November 15th, that following day, Monday, that's the last week of school before we get a 1-week Thanksgiving break. During that week, we'll spend the first block working on our slideshow. It will be short and sweet. And the second and final block will be spent doing the presentation in class. The slideshow directions are not complete yet, but I will have them for you by early next week. So after this weekend, probably on Monday, this will be filled in with slideshow directions. I'll tell you how many slides to have. I'll tell you how to create them, exactly what to do. And then I will provide you with a rubric to go over how you will be graded for your presentation. Quick reminder that the interview transcript, the lab report, the slideshow, and the presentation are all assessment grades, and the discussion, interview questions, and recipe are all learning opportunity grades. This project is going to take up 2.5 weeks of this term. That's roughly 1/3 of the quarter. So this is 1/3 of your grade, or 33%. You cannot afford to have a 0. Please make sure that you are active, you are participating, you are managing your time, you are corresponding with me, asking me questions. If you get stumped or you need help or you can't even begin to think of what recipe to choose, reach out to me. There are no excuses for any student who does not reach out to me. I'm your teacher. I'm here to help you. And I'm so excited about this project. I really have been thinking on it for a while. I've wanted to do it close to Thanksgiving as we're thinking about that precious family time, and give you something that you could look forward to and be excited about. So I can't wait to do this project with you. Please keep in close communication with me. Show up to your classes each time that we meet, and let me know if you have questions. All right, guys, I'll see you in class.